was a shadow in the government's game. Pawn as a child with no face and no name. They stole my past to leave me cold and alone. Always searching for a place I could call home. I was lost in the dark, just a tool in the hand, till she pulled me close and helped me understand. Now the fire inside is starting to rise. I can see the truth through 1,000 lies. Now I tear through the veil, leave holes in the sky. I can read every thought in the blink of an eye. Danica, my witch, she's the magic in me. Yeah, I finally found what they took from me. With a hellhound beside me, I'm standing my ground. No longer a ghost that's never been found. In the dead of the night, I can hear the call. All the ghosts of my past scratching through the wall. My eyes change colors, the power has grown. With Crowley the hound, I'm never alone. I used to be hollow, a man made of glass, but now I am reclaiming every year that has passed. Every memory is falling right back into place. I know every name and I remember every face. Now I tear through the veil, leave holes in the sky. I can read every thought in the blink of an eye. Danica, my witch, she's the magic in me. Yeah, I finally found what they took from me. With a hell on beside me, I'm standing my ground. No longer a ghost that's never been found. I ain't running no more, yeah, I'm ready to fight. Gonna settle that debt in the depth of the night. They tried to break me, they tried to erase, but they can't hide the blood from the scars on my face. The veil is thin and the engine is hot. I'm taking back everything that they thought I forgot. Now I tear through the veil, leave holes in the sky. I can read every thought in the blink of an eye. Danica, my witch, she's the magic in me. Yeah, I finally found what they took from me. With a tailhound beside me, I'm standing my ground. No longer a ghost that's never been found. I remember it all now. Every single face, I'm calling for you in the dead of the night.
Hello, everybody. My name's Henry. For those of you that don't know, for those of you that do, welcome back. Tonight I'd like to talk to you a little bit about when you're in the woods or sitting outside at nighttime, alone, and all of a sudden, you hear somebody call your name. Sometimes it can be even just when you know there's nobody around, but you hear somebody talking. Now, I've had this happen over the years, sometimes out coon hunting, out fishing, late at night. I've even had it sitting here at the house. Really not sure what it is, but whatever it is, I ain't following. Me and my wife heard it a couple times. We even one night, when the one neighbor went on vacation, and they was all gone. That night, I went outside to smoke, and I swear in my damn I heard them talking, so had my wife come and listen. She heard it. And all the way down through history, there's been people that has had the same thing happen. They'd hear usually it's a familiar voice, call their name or talking just almost outside of where you can see. And I've noticed that it's like you'll hear it, then it sounds like it may go 50 foot, maybe 100 foot. And if you're just sitting there in one spot, it'll start in again, whispering your name, almost like it wants you to follow it. I can tell you what kind of vibes it puts off. Creepy vibes. Like evil. I don't know. But I've had it happen several occasions. And I've even heard tales of people being called and they head through the woods trying to keep up, catch up to the voice, thinking it's somebody they knew. Next thing you know, they hear it one last time. And this time it sounds like it's panicked. Person runs, and next thing you know, they either trip or they run off a cliff. But in any case, I don't intend on following it. Not sure what it really wants, but whatever it's selling, I ain't buying. Had a case of that one time. I was up at my uncle's house, and me, my dad, and my uncle was bullfrogging around the lake up there by his house. And my uncle's boss, his son, was there. And we went back to the house, across the levee and across the gate up to the house, to get some more flashlight batteries and a couple sodas. When we come back, he stopped there. We had our fishing poles out earlier that day. And he'd tossed out a couple bank lines. So he told me, he said, go ahead and go on around the lake and I'll catch up. Okay. So I took the light, went on about my way. Well, I seen one person way up ahead of me, and I kept watching in the moonlight, and from a distance it looked like my dad from the back. But there was something I just couldn't quite put my finger on. It just wasn't right. It was just maybe a gut feeling. And let me tell you something. Whatever situation you find yourself in, trust your gut instinct. Whether it be about people, a situation, a paranormal situation, a cryptid situation. It'll save you more than any weapon known to man. You get that gut feeling to get the hell out of there, go. Don't sit around and wait for an explanation, because you ain't going to get it. Well, anyway, he was probably, which I'll tell you what I found weird too. He was probably, I don't know, he was halfway across the lake, and that lake was huge. It was like 5 acres of lake. Well, the one thing I was getting ready to say that I found really weird is my uncle wasn't with him. But I figured my uncle might have slipped off there in the pasture there to pee or something. So, at first, it wasn't weird to me. It was like, well, my uncle probably just slipped off to go pee or something. But I kept hollering, and he never turned around. He just kept walking. He never acknowledged me like, come on. I was like, will you slow down? I'm having a hard time carrying the lamp and trying to walk and not fall in the damn lake. He just kept walking. Okay. So I reached in my backpack, pulled out the Coon spotlight. I reached down and turned the power on it. Up on the lamp, I turned it down on low because I didn't want to blind him in case he turned around. As I clicked that light on, he stopped, but he never turned around. So I was shining in the grass, probably maybe 15, 20 foot behind him as I was walking. Well, I started to bring the light up. Started down by his feet and was going up, hoping he would, before I got up too high, he would turn around, ask me what the hell I was doing. But he didn't. He just stood there with his back toward me. So I was trying to walk as fast as I could to the short grass there that was real thick, trying not to step on a snake. But he never one time turned around, and my dad was a big smoker. He didn't have a cigarette lit. That should have been another clue, but anyway, I probably got within 100 foot of him, 150 feet, and I was watching him the whole time. But then I noticed something really weird. He had his hands in his pockets. My dad never had his hands in his pocket unless he was reaching in to get his pocket knife or some change or something like that. Otherwise, he never had his hands in his pockets. That threw me. So I stopped. He never turned around, but he was like, "Come on." But the voice sounded slightly off. And I thought, well, maybe it's because he's aggravated. But as I started walking toward him, I noticed one of his hands. It was like it was oblong or something. It just didn't look right. So as I'm debating what the hell's going on, there's too many things here that don't seem right. I heard my dad and my uncle straight across from me on the other side of the lake. And they hollered, what the hell was I doing? It'd be shorter to go back the other way. That's what I thought. And when I shined my light back, the thing or whatever it was I had been following was gone. Let me tell you something. I spun around on a dime. I ran all the way back down to where that kid was checking them bank lines. And I told him, let's get the hell out of here. I thought my dad and my uncle was up here, and I said, they done went all the way around the lake. They was just straight across on the other side from where I was at. I said, I thought I was following my dad, but it wasn't my dad. He was there with my uncle. Same shirt, same hat, same jeans, same big old rubber boots. But the hands were slightly different. And he never turned around to acknowledge me. It was like he was leading me off to where I'd be alone with him. I don't know. And that ain't the first time it's ever happened. It's happened several times after that where things would happen like that, and there would always be something off. So if you ever find yourself in that situation, try to take note. See if there's anything that don't seem right. If it don't seem right, get the hell out of there. If you're wrong, the worst thing that could happen is the person that you thought was there just laughs at you. But what would have happened if I would have caught up with whatever that thing was that was trying to take on the same image as my dad? I don't know. I for damn sure didn't want to find out. Like I said, it's happened on a few occasions, and it about scares you to death when you figure out that ain't somebody that you know. It's something taking on the form of that person, trying to lure you off. That's hard to tell how many of those missing 411s that maybe something like that's happened. Now, I will say this. Some of those missing 411s is people getting pulled into portals. Think about it. They go there searching for the person, and the dogs stop. It's like they lose the trail, like they just kind of jumped off the earth. Then, several days later, somebody's hiking, and they see a person sitting way up on a rocky bluff. They call the rescue teams in, and now this is a place where they've already searched. Didn't see nothing. Yet here that person is that went missing. They ask them where they been, what happened. They don't know. Which takes me to another point. There is agencies, I'll just say that can wipe your memory so quick and make your head spin. I know. It was done to me. And I'm telling you, they can't wipe it away forever, but they can put a block there. It took me years, I'm talking about years, to remember some of the stuff that was done with me and to me. And I'm still remembering things that I had a block put on me, or I didn't know. Some of the things I found out I wasn't too happy about. Other things was a shock to me. But do you know this here? I knew a little kid that got some kind of weird, like a hoof-to-mouth disease. They took him to the hospital. A little kid. The kid almost died several times. They called a priest in and told the parents that the kid may not survive. Then all of a sudden, the kid got better. Then the next day, same thing again. Be like if they lived another 2 hours. And this went on, this touch and go, back and forth, back and forth. And this little kid was in the children's hospital. Best doctors you could get. Well, they told the parents when she started getting better, said, you know, so this here don't affect her later on and cause her to have bad dreams or fear going to the doctor, we can block out this part. Now, if a doctor can block out a little kid's memory of the time they spent in the hospital and going back and forth, because even afterwards, when she got to go home, she still had to go back and forth. If they could do that to a little kid, just wipe out a section, it ain't no different than wiping out somebody's memory about things that took place. It's the same thing. And I'm here to tell you, they can damn well do it. The funny thing is, you won't have no recollection until years later when something triggers it. See, all these blocks, there's a trigger set up, a mechanism. It might be a smell, it might be a sound, it might be a word, it might be a phrase. It could even be a picture that would start triggering memories. And I'm here to tell you it's real. All this stuff going on nowadays, you'd be surprised the amount of people that have no clue. It's like there's missing sections of your life. And they just chuck it up to, well, I just can't remember, getting old. Bad case of what I call sometimers. Sometimers I remember, sometimers I don't. No. Something or somebody has probably put a block on you. And eventually, it'll be like me. Something would start triggering those memories. You'll start getting flashes at first, visions of things. You start dreaming about things and people, places. Then it's like a movie reel playing in your head. You start seeing, and there's pieces cut out. But as you go along, eventually, those blanks start getting filled in. So you start seeing the whole movie. And let me tell you, it was one hell of a shock. So, these people anyway that have gone missing, that they looked in them spots and didn't find them, but there they are, they can't remember. Now it's funny, not a single one, anybody that's ever interviewed any of those people, has ever went back years later as a follow-up. Now why is that? Probably afraid of what they will remember, what they might say, what they might tell you. And everybody thinks this Jeffrey Epstein thing's bad. You think that's bad? What about the goings on that you and me aren't being told about? This day and age, not even in town do you want to venture too far walking. Because in these projects, some of these kids were just taken right off the street. It ain't safe anymore. No matter where you're at, no matter if you're in the country or town, it's just not safe. Better off to have a good guard dog and a good weapon. Because there was cases going on there, and I think it was Virginia. 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, ice cream trucks going by. playing the song, got the little lights going. What in the hell little kids are up that late? So what the hell was these ice cream trucks doing? Driving around, stopping about every other house. I don't know. It's just weird. But in any case, whether you're sitting outside or... There's even cases where people sat in their house and swore up and down they heard somebody call their name. They get up to go look, and the sound sounds like it's further, just a little bit further away. They walk toward the sound and listen, thinking that they'll get closer to it. But they don't. The voice always seems to be just a little bit further than what it was before, because it's trying to lure you. In any case, don't follow it. They have an old saying, too, about in the woods. At nighttime when you're out in the woods, whether it be coon hunting, hiking, or whatever, don't whistle in the woods. And I'm telling you, not a good idea. You'll call something to you that you definitely don't want to make a pet of. I wouldn't do it. It's not safe to do anything like that. I mean, I ain't saying don't go out in the woods during the day or even nighttime, because you can't let fear rule you, but just be aware there's bad people out there. There's alien visits at nighttime. There's things out there that'll call your name. There's things out there that you whistle, it'll come to you. And I ain't talking about a dog either. So you just want to be careful what you do in the woods. Have your wits about you. You get that gut feeling, get the fuck out of there. Don't hesitate. Don't wait for another sign. As soon as you get that feeling, get the hell out of there. That's your body's warning sign trying to tell you there's something that you need to get the hell away from. You gotta remember all these things that's out in the wood, whether it be crazy people, these dark agencies, dark entities, cryptids. They know that wood better than you do. That's like their house. You get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. Sometimes you may turn on a light, sometimes you may not. Because you know your house. You know where your furniture's at. How to get around it without stubbing a toe. Out there, they got one more advantage you don't have. They have night vision. And some of these serial killers and crazies out there, they have the same thing. It's just store-bought night vision. In any case, all these things can see out there better than you can. Besides that, never leave a path, especially at nighttime. Especially if you don't know the woods. If you don't know that particular woods, don't do it. I was up at a place, that's been several years ago, when I lived up north. I used to go up to the Black Hawk statue. It's a big Indian statue that overlooks I believe it's the Rock River. I go up there, there's a nice park. Whenever you go in, come in through the entrance there, they took a bunch of trees and cut them about 3-4 foot high, cut them off. They left a stump, and they had a person come in and use a chainsaw and made like mushrooms, toadstools, and some odds and ends, different carvings. They were cool looking. Well, anyway, one night, I decided to take the dog and go up there. Peaceful and quiet. Maybe scout out a place to camp overnight. So I headed out, me and the dog. It was quite a little ways. It took probably about 45 minutes, an hour to get there. Well, I pulled in, come past those little wood carving things they had there, scattered around through the park by the picnic table and trash barrels. But you're going past that, and there's kind of like a knob, you turn around. So I parked there not far from the the statue, and there wasn't nobody around. So I opened the door, and this is like late October, probably around October 15th, 20th, something around there. It wasn't Halloween yet. So I opened the door and let the dog jump out. I had to lead in my hand, but I didn't have him hooked up because there wasn't nobody up there. So, YouTube, a long time ago, they had a spotlight that shined up on the statue that overlooked the river. Well, for whatever reason, the light was removed and pretty pitch black back in there. Now, back there by those carvings, there's one pole light. That's it. So I back there and I got the flashlight on me and I turned on and I was shining the statue. Now this statue used to, in the lower extremities of the statue, you could go in and take these little steps and look out the Indian's eyes and look out across the river. I always thought it was pretty cool. But then they shut the inside down because they had to do some repairs. So there's some seating there. So me and the dog, I sit down there and he's on the ground and I was feeding him a couple Slim Jims. While I was sitting there smoking, I kept hearing something up by the truck. And at first, it sounded like a couple foreigners. Gibberish, it's not like words that we know, but it's just gibberish. So, dog started perking up and looking. So I turned around and shined the light. I didn't see nothing. I had a cooler in the back of the truck. Had iced down soda, bologna and some bread and stuff. So I started getting a little hungry. I was like, well, I'm going to go up and get me a sandwich. Then we'll come back, sit down here and eat. So I started heading up toward the truck, and I heard in the brush some rustling. So I was like, maybe an old coon or possum or something. So I just kept walking. I noticed the dog was staying right up close to me. But he was still between me and whatever it was, whatever they were. So, got up to the truck, shined light over the bed. There was my cooler, all right. The bread was missing. The meat was missing. The cheese was missing. Soda cans were thrown all over the place, busted. Ice was dumped out in the back of the truck. The cooler, the lid, was half hanging on and half hanging off. I was like, what the hell could do that? I wasn't that far from the truck. So, I unlocked the truck door, rest behind the truck seat, got the rifle out, turned the light on the rifle, and I started scouring the woods. What I seen next totally took me by surprise. There were amber-colored eyes all over along the edge of them woods, just far enough back in the brush that you couldn't make out what it was, but you could see those eyes shining. So I was like, screw this. Opened the door and told the dog to get in. He got in the truck. I climbed in, shut the door and locked it. I started the truck and turned the headlights on, and I had to make the loop. When I got to the end to make the loop around, my headlights was bouncing off the edge of the woods. It wasn't just 4 or 5 sets of eyes I was seeing. It was hard telling how many sets of eyes I seen. Well, they wasn't approaching the truck, whatever it was. So I got out of there kind of hastily. I mean, I wasn't driving crazy, but I wasn't letting no grass grow under my tires either. I got up there to the entrance. Something or somebody had pulled that pipe gate shut. It wasn't locked, but they pulled it shut, so I'd have to get out. Like, I don't think so. So I put the truck bumper against it, nudged it. When it started opening, I bumped it again. I didn't bother shutting that gate. I headed back home. On the way home, I noticed this car was following me. So I kept an eye out. When I got back to town, I pulled in at the gas station, which was only like 3 blocks from the house. Pulled in there. This car pulled in behind me. I was like, well, here we go. So I just opened the truck door and got out, but I didn't shut the truck door. This man and woman parked behind me, like they was blocking me in. So I just stood there. The woman rolled her window down on the passenger side, and she goes, hey, you didn't just come from the Black Hawk statue, did you? Yeah, I was up there. Did you notice your tailgate? What about my tailgate? Your tailgate's caved in. And there's blood all over it. Did you hit something? No. Now what the hell are you going to say? I wasn't going to say anything. They go, did you have anything happen up there? Maybe. Why? We used to camp up there, but it ain't a safe place to go anymore. I said, yeah, I carry a gun in the truck. She goes, I don't think a gun would help you. Well, let somebody mess around and we'll see. They said, no, what we're talking about, come here. So I left the truck door open and told the dog to stay there, but he was watching. Anybody would have touched me, that dog would have come out of that truck. So I walked back to the back of my truck, and I noticed my tailgate was all caved in and blood on it. She goes, no, that place is infested with dog men. That's why you never see anybody up there. You ever go up there during daytime? Yeah, but I never ever seen anybody. Well, that's why. I said, you're kidding me. She goes, no. We seen you come out of the park. We was coming down the road, and I guess you never noticed us way back there behind you, but we seen you. We decided to follow you and at least let you know, because obviously you didn't know. No, I didn't. But I said, I did see eyes. Well, it went on a couple of weeks. I decided I'd go one more time. I went up there during the day. Me and the dog. Got me another cooler. Loaded it down. Because I don't drink. I don't drink beer, whiskey, wine, anything like that. I don't mess with dope either. But we went up there. It was probably about 2:30 in the afternoon, 3 o'clock. There wasn't a soul there. I even looked in all the trash cans. There wasn't no trash. Wasn't no tracks up there, vehicle tracks or people tracks. But I kept the dog right with me and had the gun. I walked around that park, and I started noticing things. Now, in Illinois, there ain't no bear. So, got to noticing, in that brush, it looked like bear scrapes on the trees. What the hell? So I kind of walked in the woods there, trying not to step in no poison ivy, because, me and poison ivy don't get along. And watch for snakes. The closer I got, the stinkier it got. I finally had my shirt up, covering my nose and my mouth, because it was, you know what stinks bad? When it smells so bad you can taste it. And even after you leave the smell, it's still lingering in your nose and your throat. It was one of those kinds of stinks. Kind of like a bad skunk smell when you hit it with a vehicle. Rotten meat. Wet dog. Then I started noticing places on the ground that had been scraped up. And I ain't talking about like a deer scrape. It was clawed up. Then I seen the tracks. These tracks, I kid you not. They were so big, you could have took a Saint Bernard, a Mastiff, and put their foot in that track, and those tracks would have still been way bigger than any known dog tracks. Here's the kicker though. I'm sitting there looking at these tracks. I notice a vehicle pull in. Real slow. Then it goes and parks behind my truck. Okay. So I stepped out of the woods, got back in the park, headed toward my truck real slow. Had the gun with a shoulder strap on my back. Got up there, and I was just trying to see who it was and what they was going to do, what they was up to. So I kind of smiled and waved. They didn't wave back. I was like, okay. Maybe they ain't friendly. got to the truck. Of course, the dog was watching them the time, but this dog never barked, just like the one I got now. they, my dog don't bark unless he's in the house and you're outside on the road. But you start coming to the door, he ain't gonna bark. He's waiting for you to come through that door. Wait for you to do something stupid. Same with this dog I had. He didn't break. I opened the door, told him to get in, but I left the door open. And I set the gun down there and was watching these guys. All of a sudden, both car doors come open. Guy's like, is it safe to come up there? As long as you ain't planning on doing something stupid. That dog gonna stay in the truck? Unless you do something stupid. What was you doing? That's why I don't think it's none of your business. You got a badge or what? Well, what they was wanting to know, did I see anything? I was like, so what the hell you want? I'm up here, just me and dog, having a good time, not bothering a soul. What was you doing with a gun? Again, unless you got a badge or unless I'm under arrest, ain't none of your goddamn business. According to the Constitution, I have the right to protect myself and bear arms. So I'm exercising my right. I didn't point the gun at you. I just have it in case I need it. But what was you doing with it at the edge of the woods? Again, it ain't none of your goddamn business. You want to tell me what you're really doing here? You know, we could take you in. Unless I see a badge. I don't think so. You got a warrant? You probably don't. And in which case, you're probably going to leave here empty-handed. Piss me off, and we go the other route. I leave you here, and I go home. Now, what do you want? What was you looking for? Didn't I tell you earlier a couple times, none of your damn business? Well, then they started playing good cop, bad cop, whatever the hell they were. I never did see a badge or a uniform. They were dressed in suits. One guy said, I told you we wouldn't get nowhere with him. He's just up here snooping. The other guy goes, yeah, he seems okay. Playing good cop, bad cop. I was like, state your business, because I'm about ready to leave. I said, I don't even know where in the hell you guys come from. It was like these guys appeared out of nowhere. Well, the one guy went on about, there's things in the woods that we worry about people walking around by themselves. I said I wasn't by myself. I got the dog. I got a gun. So you want to tell me what you're really doing? Did you see any tracks? What kind of tracks? Deer tracks, squirrel tracks, rabbit tracks? What do you mean? Anything out of the ordinary? What the hell's out of the ordinary to you? They were fishing. I said, I didn't see shit. Well, we seen you over there looking at some couple trees. Then you was looking at the ground. I said, is there a law against that? That river's right there. Why you telling me that? You plan on going for a swim? You trying to invite me for a swim? I don't swim with people like you. Whatever you know might be in your best interest to tell us. But really, I ain't telling you shit. There's nothing to tell. If you think I've seen something, I found something, then why don't you trot your ass over there and go look? As for me, you don't have a warrant, you don't have a badge, and you're not very good company. So, I'm going to be leaving. Guy said, hold on a minute. I said, you're beginning to bore the shit out of me. I don't know what it is you're selling, but whatever it is, I ain't buying. You maybe will get past the dog, if you're lucky. Because he's big and he's kind of clumsy. But even though you might get by him, your partner there won't. Now, so that leaves you and me. Ball's in your court. You gonna move that damn car? Or am I gonna push it? You know, they followed me all the way home. For the next 3 days, every time I'd leave and go to work, these two would follow me. I come home one night, it was probably about 10:30. I went to a local ball game, took the dog with me, and I come home, some son of a bitch had ransacked my home. I don't know if they thought I picked up something and brought it from the woods. Maybe they thought I took pictures. I ain't that stupid. But anyway, it was just weird because I don't know who these people were. Don't care to know who they really are. But if you find yourself in that position, don't tell them shit. Eventually they quit messing around my place. But they didn't need to know that I had seen some creatures up there, and I was told by some people, be careful about going back there. I'm just glad I didn't take no pictures or take any evidence, because had I had taken any of that time, that's probably what they was looking for in the house. I was just glad I had the dog with me and the dog wasn't home. Because either one, I'd come home and found him dead, or two, I'd have found them two assholes sitting there in a chair somewhere and the dog between them, not letting them out of the house. Oh, he let you in. You ain't getting out. I don't know who they are, but you know, a lot of people don't know too that the conservation goes and buys grain with state money. They also buy hay, and they go up, put it in the forest, way back away from any place, for the wildlife. Now, this I know for a fact. I've seen it. Now, if they're doing that, what else are they feeding out there? Don't know, but it makes you wonder, doesn't it? They know a lot more than they're telling. Just like they know about them voices. Here's another one for you. What about these stairs that just appear out of nowhere out in the forest? If you see them, don't climb them. Just turn around and leave. There's been lots of people that has climbed them. Once they got to the top, they just vanished. Never to be seen or heard from again. So if you come across any of them old stairs like that, just sitting out there in the forest, stay away from them. Take a picture of them if you want to, but get the hell out of there. There's been lots of people that have seen these stairs and done just like I told you. They see them, they don't approach them, and they get the hell out of there. Those that climbed it just wound up gone. Just gone missing. Vanished at the top of the stairs. I seen a place that set above the river, and it looked like a sniper's nest. Well, I started walking down the hill to this bluff face. I'd have been on top of the bluff. But as I walked, I started hearing a kind of like an electrical noise, a humming, buzzing combination of the two. And I could feel static in the air. And about the time I got within 15-20 foot of this place that looked like a sniper's nest, what it was is a bunch of big giant rocks. And then there was one opening that's about 3 foot where you could go in, and the ground was real patted down. But as I got close to that opening, to go into the sniper nest just to see what it looked like to me, an old sniper nest. But as I did, I started hearing those noises, started seeing those vapors. Like, nope. I got the hell out of there. There was a portal there that was starting to open. And that's the noises I was hearing. I was like, nope, I don't think so. So sometimes there'll be things like that that draws your curiosity to go there and look, check it out. It could be a trap. So just be careful. Keep, listen. In the woods, whether you're Bigfoot hunting, dogman hunting, where the fuck it is you're hunting. Or if you're just hiking. And all of nature goes quiet. The crickets, the frogs, the skeeters, the birds. Then that means there's some predator in that woods that is scaring all these things. In that case, keep your eyes wide open, keep your head on a swivel. Don't run. Get out of those woods. Some of these portals during the daytime can open unless you're really paying attention. You just walk right straight into it. Just like at nighttime. Nighttime, without a camera, you wouldn't see one. You might feel it, you might hear it, you might sense it. But you'll never know exactly where it's at in front of you. And all of a sudden, boom, you step in it, you're gone. And these are natural portals. We ain't talking about the man-made ones. The woods ain't a place you want to go and act stupid. You go into the woods, keep your eyes and ears open. It don't seem right. Seems like the woods is foreboding. Turn around and leave. Otherwise, you could be a missing 411. I gotta say, though, one of the weirdest things I ever encountered in the woods, besides cryptids, down where my uncle used to live, I used to go squirrel hunting back there all the time. I'd get up crack of dawn. I wouldn't come home till 3 or 4 o'clock. Anyway, I'd follow this little creek. It wasn't very wide, probably maybe about 5-6 foot wide, and there were places about waist deep, and other places about 3 or 4 inches of water. But I'd walk that creek, because at that time them squirrels was cutting on those hedge balls, and that whole creek was lined with them. So I could walk in that creek with rubber boots on, and them squirrels wouldn't hear me. But you walk up there on them leaves and sticks and get to crunching, them squirrels hear that and take off. So I walk in my rubber boots up through there, and I'd probably walked about 3 miles. No houses, nothing. Just woods, pastures. I come across this old train car. A steel train car. One of them ones that you open the door on the side, you slide it. Sitting in the middle of the woods. I don't know how the fuck I got there. But, in any case, I was curious. Well, I noticed there was a trail going straight to it. So I walked the trail instead of walking to the briars. I got up there and opened the car. What I seen inside there made me even more curious, but scared the shit out of me too. There was a great big, it looked like a wrought iron steel cage. And in front of it was a couple of log chains and these great big huge padlocks. There were scratches on the floor, scratches on the walls of that train, on them bars. I don't know what was in there or what they was keeping in there. But whatever it was sure making a hell of a mess. Stink, oh my God, it stunk. I was probably there for about 20 minutes just looking at all the damage that was done and wondering, why in the hell would there be log chains and padlocks just thrown on the floor? And then I got thinking, what if somebody's got a trail camera up, or they're sitting around watching me here? I better get the hell out of here. I'm here by myself. So I turned to walk off, and I got a little ways away. I turned and looked. And I was probably 50, 60 foot from it. Couldn't see it. So I cut across the little creek, went over there in the pasture on the hillside there and looked down. You couldn't see it. You had to be just in the right place in order to see that thing. So I started walking, trying to figure out why in the hell would there be a train car, and why in the hell would there be a big steel, like a wrought iron cage in there. I mean, it was huge. That cage was probably about 15 foot long, about 6-7 foot wide maybe. It had a bottom and a top. So all the way home, this was playing in my brain. What the fuck they have in there? A bear? Mountain lion? Well, I got back to my uncle's house. Finally, it was just about time pole light was coming on. I didn't realize I'd walked that far. When I pulled in, there was a great big burly guy and my uncle's boss sitting there in 2 different trucks talking to my uncle. So I carried my squirrels in, got me a pan of water and sharpened my knife up, go outside and skin them. My uncle goes, hey, come here for a minute. Yeah, what's up? He goes, by chance, you didn't take that creek and go north, did you? Yeah, so I went a few miles. How far did you go? A few miles. These guys want to know exactly how far you went. I don't know, I didn't have a meter or anything. I was just guessing a few miles. As I started out this morning about the buck crack dawn, I just now got back. Did you see anything peculiar? Not really, other than an old train car. And I ain't kidding you. My uncle's boss and that old guy, their face went snow white. Their eyes got great big. They was like, in this train car, did you see anything strange? I said, yeah, there was a big old cage in there. Looked like it was made out of wrought iron. Great big huge cage. Took up almost the whole entire inside of that boxcar. There was a couple of log chains with some big giant padlocks. Like in industrial padlocks. They about shit. I didn't know what the hell was scaring them so bad. But they proceeded to tell me that a few years prior to that, people around that area was missing livestock. Sheep, goats, cows, pigs, even a couple of horses. Well, they decided that they was going to keep an eye out and find out what the hell, maybe a pack of wolves or coyotes. Even though they were told there wasn't no wolves around here. But it seemed like no matter where they put their livestock, whatever it was finding them. One night, they staked a goat out. And they all got hid real good. In come this about 8-9 foot creature, walking on two legs, sniffing, grunting. Then it throw its head back and let a howl out, curl the hair on your head. Well, them guys swallowed deep. They popped their heads up, opened fire. This thing ran off like mosquitoes had bit it. Well, come to find out, there was a older guy that had come out of nowhere, and he moved up to an old house not far from that old train car. Well, what people didn't realize, he didn't come alone. He had a brother. Well, that night when all them guys shot at this thing, it just vanished into the night. The sound just stopped, and it was like it vanished. Well, the next day, some guys decided they would track it. They tracked it back up to an old house where these two guys was living. When they knocked on the door, because they seen blood trail, the one brother answered the door. Where's your brother at? He's out. You know when he'll be back? Don't know. Didn't say. You know where he went? No, he didn't say. They said, well, you tell him that we tracked blood up here in tracks. Tell him we want to talk to him. He said, well, I'll tell him, but he don't like people. Sometime during the night, these two left. Nobody knows how they left. They were just gone by the next morning. Well, rumors started circulating that one or both brothers were shape-shifting werewolves. And supposedly, the one brother was nice, and the other one was the one that was killing livestock in his shape-shifting form. Well, that one night, that brother either got wounded so bad he passed away, or two, he was hit up. But in any case, the next day, those two were gone. Nobody knows where they went, whatever happened to them. But then it got around, too, that maybe the nicer brother was locking the old brother up, the mean brother, inside that old train car at nighttime when he would shapeshift. Don't know. All I know is in Illinois, this train car is still there. It still has the cage in it. The chains and padlocks are still there. Now that I look back on it, it makes me wonder, were they or was he a werewolf? And I don't mean he transformed into a dog, a coyote, a wolf-looking thing on two legs like a dog man. Because I just don't find that possible. I could be wrong, but that would be one painful transformation. But what if his eyes changed, his hair on his body started getting really coming in right at the moment thick. Maybe his mouth changed a little bit, his facial expression, and maybe he started acting animalistic. That I could buy. But then again, there's lots of shit out there that I didn't think could exist, but does. So I won't rule out that he wasn't a werewolf or they wasn't werewolves. I've seen vampires. Lots of ghosts. So anything's possible. All I know is I was sure glad that them two guys wasn't around when I was up there walking around. I don't know what the hell might have happened if I'd run across them. I might have been that evening's supper. Don't know. That's why I said you gotta be careful in the woods. You gotta be careful any place. Because unless you really know somebody, you don't know what they're capable of and what they're doing. You know, even your serial killers live two lives. Live next door to them while they're the nicest person around. Until they aren't. So just keep your eyes and ears and your wits about you. If something feels off, get the hell out of there. Don't sit around and wait for a written invitation or a plane to go over and skywrite in the sky, get the fuck out of here. Just go. Hopefully you can make it home. For those people that didn't, well, they're probably buried out in the timber somewhere. But listen to your gut instincts. It won't steer you wrong. Well, how about taking up enough of your time? I just want to tell you about some strange things that happened in Illinois. Because all this here took place in Illinois. Hearing people call my name, seeing somebody I thought was my dad, but it wasn't. My dad was on the other side of the lake with my uncle. And these two guys that some say they were werewolves, or one of them was, or both of them was. Don't know. Something was being kept in that thing. Something sure tore the hell out of the inside of them boards, scraping and scratching, leaving claw marks. I don't know. always thought about going back there again someday, and I thought, no, some things might be better off left unsolved. Leave some mysteries in the world. And besides that, I sure hell wouldn't want to be there if one of those two come back, or if they had kids and their kids was like them and come back. I don't think so. So I ain't going back. But I sometimes wonder what took place in that old train car all those many years ago. And how long did this happen? You know, did both of them lock themselves up? Or did one lock one up? Don't know. Maybe they locked each other up so there wouldn't be so many animal killings, so people wouldn't get suspicious. I don't know. I'll leave it up to you. Have any ideas? Drop me a message. All I can do is report what I've seen. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Telling you about some of the things I've seen over the years and some of the things I've witnessed. I'm surprised I'm still alive. I guess maybe the devil says, hey, I sure now don't want you. God's like, well, we need a little more time before we evaluate you. So that's probably why I'm still here. Too damn ornery to die. Or they're just waiting to find a corner to put me in whichever direction I go. But in any case, I'm still here and I'm still kicking, so I just want to drop in and tell you about some things that's happened and still is happening. This is ongoing, you know. I'm still hearing things out in the woods by my house. I go out to smoke. It's almost like it beckons you, but whatever it's selling, I ain't buying. I advise you not to buy it either. Well, y'all have a good night. I'll catch you in the next one. This is Henry. Thank you for watching. And I'll catch you on the next one. Be good to one another. If not, just cuss. Thanks for watching.